Oh, whoa, 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 whoa.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. Hey, how you doing?
Well, hey.
So this one's gonna be a quick one. I know we always say that, but we're preparing for the future. We've got some busy plans and weekends coming up. We kind of just wanted to talk about the latest release, the keynote, the Apple
The
keynote.
latest and greatest.
Latest and greatest. It is the latest. It is the greatest. I'll agree, right? Because the S8 was earlier this year, Note 8, right? Pixels in October. We just got the confirmed date announcement, October 4th. So currently, it is the latest and greatest flagship. Um, so we're just going to talk about that and our thoughts on it. And you guys let us know what you think. Again, if you don't know my Twitter, it's at Day Call Me Geo, DEY. Let us know. What side are you on? Team Apple? Team Android?
Well, before we do that, let me go ahead and play the intro, all right? Since you're giving your Twitter, I want to do my intro next time. So, anyway, so this is good because we have opposing views on preferences for OS and platforms and whatnot. So let me kind of preface by saying I started out with Android. Well, I originally started out with iPhone, then I went into Android. I liked it, felt a lot of the inconsistencies and all these other issues that are related to the open sourceness and that Android, and Windows basically kind of has. So switched over to Apple. There are still some annoyances, some things that should be very straightforward if you came from Windows, but when you shift your thought process to something more basic, then Apple makes more sense. So, any case, that's my side in terms of Apple, and then Geo is more on the side of Android and all these cool things like shaking your phone to be able to turn on the flashlight and
Okay,
yeah.
so now let me preface my side of things. So I don't hate, Apple. I think it's a great company. I think they make great products, but I hate kind of like what people thinks it stands for, or maybe the lack of knowledge of what they think. So, don't get me wrong, Apple is a great product, right? And great software, and mixed together, they make a really good phone. But on top of that, then why do they then charge, twice as much? I get they're on Linux, kind of an operating system, just like kind of Android is too. But certain things about it that irk me, where it would be free on an Android but not on an Apple, or how they lock you in and you've already are in this ecosystem and they give you a real hard time getting you out. Or there's just honestly there's not anything that you can do on an Apple that you can't do on a Windows, but I can show you the reverse. I mean, I can bring up multiple examples. So that's kind
Wait,
of
we're not talking about here. We're not. You know what? Let's not do that. Let's not do that because we don't want this to be a
well,
big
no,
debate.
I want them to understand where I'm coming from. I don't hate on Apple. It's
But
just
you just
the
talk. Okay, fine. You want to talk about like, oh, it's twice as expensive and this that, and the other. Here's why. They have one phone. There's one phone. It's the iPhone. And,
no, they
and
just purposely overprice it
right, but there's a reason for it, right?
because
Think
they
about it.
can and people will pay for it.
Because it is a premium. It's a premium. It's meant to be a premium. It's not meant to be a, was it Android
No,
One?
it's
Remember when,
overpriced. It's like a diamond. Oh, it's a premium. It's
dude,
overpriced.
right, but that's how they market it, and it does make sense. And they
That's
do use
fine. I
they
get it.
use proprietary components. They
As
use, do
as
they
a
not?
business, they are doing very well. They have more money than God,
Yep.
and that's what is awesome
God
about them. I
actually
like
called
that.
Apple to for a loan. God was like, "Yo, I Christmas is coming up. I need a favor." And Apple was like, maybe."
I'm not against that. I don't think like they're a big corporation and that I'm just not for it. I can do things that I want to do at my price or my flexibility that I want, and that's why it is for me. So anyways, we had some guests we were going to try to get on, one guy that was also on Android side and one guy that was more on the Apple side. They couldn't make it. This was kind of like a last minute decision, so maybe next time. But let's just, now that you know our sides and where we're coming from, let's talk about the announcement. So you want to start first?
Yeah, so it's okay. So here's my real kind of height response and this and the other. Okay, so my response to it is this: the Apple iPhone X, which it's not the X, they like to call it the iPhone 10, right? Whatever the hell happened to 9. But in any case, the iPhone 10 is going to be a really awesome device for what it is. It is lacking in certain areas, but from my side, right, in the photo and video side, I think it's a game changer. It could be better, of course. It could always be better, right? They retain the same megapixel. The camera's got a few deeper pixels and all these other cool things. But I'm mostly excited as a filmmaker because I use my iPhone to vlog, and I'm really excited for the 4K at 60 frames a second, which I think is going to be very, very cool to be able to see 4K footage. Granted, it's from a small cell phone sensor, but at the same time, I still think it's going to be amazing. They also used they upgraded their image stabilization, which you have to kind of wonder how great it's going to be now because their current one, the one that I have on my iPhone 7 Plus, the image stabilization is pretty darn good. Like it's exceptionally good, better than some of the other ones I've seen. So for them to upgrade, I'm curious about that. But again, with video capabilities, 4K at 60 frames a second, I think that's going to be a game changer for the ones that decide to use it. Because 4K files at 60 frames a second, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be large. It's going to be huge. And the other really good and exciting video capability is the feature for 1080 at 240 frames a second. I kind of use that now on my Sony Alpha 6500 when I go to shoot slow-mo. When I go to, like, if I don't have a stabilizer on me and I want that film, what I'll do is I'll shoot it at super slow-mo, and then I can just take the little snippets, whether it be half a second or a couple seconds of it, and then that helps me to have that stabilized video to make it look a little bit more polished and professional looking. So I think having it on an iPhone, which is going to be lighter, especially if you put it on a gimbal, then it's just like a game changer, right? You have super slow mo. You could probably use it as a slider with it being on a gimbal. That's my prediction. So I'm excited because that is just kind of advancing in terms of video capabilities and features. And then, of course, on the photo side, the studio lighting. I mean, wow, that's between the studio lighting and the portrait mode using the front-facing camera. I think those two are going to open up the doors for new types of photography. So basically, everybody's a photographer already because they have an iPhone or they have a phone. So now it's going to be compounded because now people are going to want to do these like studio lightings in portrait mode with their front-facing camera. So it could be good. I could see where it's going to go bad. But yeah, I'm interested in that technology. And the other thing I don't know how I feel about it yet. It's the facial recognition. Number one, it failed, right? It failed in live demo, so that kind of took me back to the days of Android where I was so excited to show off a feature, and I was like, oh yeah, check out this feature. I just pressed this button, and I'm like, oh, it didn't work for whatever reason. So I'm hoping that it's because the actual iOS 11 isn't fully complete. The the phone itself is somewhat still prototype. It would have been great if it did work on the first try for them to unlock using facial recognition. But at the same time, I have high hopes for it. I'm also curious about how it's going to be without a physical button, without a physical home button. So what about you? What are your thoughts?
So, I get why you are real big into the camera part of it, and that made, the biggest part for you. For me, not so much. I'm an auto guy, so not so much there on the camera side of things. As far as the 4K 60 frames, I want to say yes, that probably is gonna be the first phone. I tried Googling to see if any Android phones had that, and it looks like the Note 8 does.
No, 8 is it does have it?
That's what I'm seeing right here. Look at XDA on my screen here. We'll have this video up. I think I might post this video on our
Oh,
YouTube
don't. I
channel.
wasn't even looking at the camera and I was like picking my nose.
Well, I don't think it posts the webcam recordings, but just so you can see what we're sharing on the screen. So if you want to check that out and not just listen to the audio part, look for us on YouTube under Random Tech T3K. So the Note 8 has it, and it's out now. I haven't tried it. I haven't confirmed it. I mean, this is just me Googling it. So I don't know. That being said, whatever. But yeah, the iPhones always has a great camera. So if they're getting bumped up to it, bumps, so that's gonna be, I think, good. Currently the iPhone 7 Plus versus what I think is the best camera out for Android right now, the Pixel. I mean, side by side, I think the only place, the iPhone might win at would be maybe OIS because it's software generated on the Pixel, but really good software, and maybe portrait mode. I mean, we have it, just not double lens version. So, but I mean, taking just regular picture, auto by auto side, I say Pixel all the way. Besides that, other features, I mean, the facial recognition fail that happened. I mean, I'm sorry everybody saw that video. So hopefully they have a little bit more time to work on that and get that corrected. Everybody, makes mistakes sometimes during demos. But
Okay, so
there's no fingerprint, right? There's no home button. So that's going to be the way to unlock. So that has to be like flawless and super secure.
yeah, so it's innovating in technology yet again to actually remove a button. They're removing things and they're trying to make
Well, they're
like
not innovating, right? Because Samsung's already removed the button and had bezel-less edge to edge.
well, so they're innovating in that they're doing it a little bit differently, right? Or at least in their presentation of it, because they're like, it's not just facial recognition, it's these light pixels that put a 3D map of your face, as opposed to saying, here's like, for example, I don't know if it's going to be like this, but with Samsung's Face Unlock, you can just take a picture of it and then boom, it'll unlock. I don't know if iPhone's going to be able to do that because it actually has to
Yeah,
measure
but
depth.
Samsung's Face Unlock is like face, right? So can unlock with a picture. They're improving against that. It isn't the most secure. They have more biometrical type of stuff, which is what Facebook is trying to go with. So they have the iris scan, which uses infrared, and you can do it at night, and it lights up your face. And they have fingerprint. So those are a lot less crackable, like 1 in a million or whatever, because I think fingerprints aren't 100% unique. I saw that somewhere too. But we already have that, so that's not like nothing new. But let me just finish kind of on my thoughts, and we can kind of go into the details if you want, or is this going to be a quick one? I mean, again, nothing new, not blown away. Like Watch is coming with a SIM card, it's something we've had for years. So just not blown away. The TV is coming with 4K. I think it has the HDR, which I'm not sure if Roku or Amazon have it, but we've had 4K again. So kind of just
But
it's
there's a big difference when you talk about HDR technology being implemented in that Apple
right,
TV.
right. But we're
But
talking
I'm not
about
even
a
a TV
year to
person.
2 years later after 4K. So of course, if you come up with it after, yeah, you're gonna have it better. But guess what? There's gonna be another Amazon that's half the price, if not. We can get Fire Stick for $40. What's an Apple TV? Especially this new Apple TV. What are they pricing it at? 150, 250?
It's like I think it starts at like 175. Well, whatever. Either way, though,
It's
it's
just
not
it's
just.
just late and not all that, I think. So
Hmm.
I just not I wasn't impressed by the keynote. I'm glad that they're trying to move forward and create, and they're doing the bezel-less because there's a million bezel-less screens, and now there's not a million. Let's say there's at least 10
There's
Android
1
bezel-less new
billion.
cameras. So not too impressed by it. I'm sure it'll be a great phone. I'm sure it'll sell a lot. Definitely not for me. You try it out and let us know. I'm excited
Again,
for the
from
Pixel 2, which is like 20 days away.
first off, how much is the Pixel 2?
It's probably going to be, I would say, 75, well, 25% cheaper, I would say. So
So it's about 750 bucks.
before the Pixel started, which was last year, we had the Nexus line, and the Nexus was like the developer phone, like pure
And it was
Android. Yeah, it was good. So they moved, and now Google has their own line. They're not doing Nexus anymore. They're doing Pixel, and Pixel is like, a Google manufactured phone with Google software, pure. And the price actually went up from the
that
previous. Um,
they were when they first kind of iterated on it. It was supposed to be so that it's Android, it's vanilla, right? It's a pure Android experience, and also the cost factor was the driving force into why people bought
yeah,
it because it was
so it
only
did go up. So we're
$3.
talking about price when starting points. It went up from the Nexus to the Pixel from about 400 to 600. So now this is going to be the Pixel 2, and it's going to be decked out. And even if the price goes up again, I doubt it's going to hit the 1,000 mark. I think starting prices for the Pixel 2, we don't know. October 4th is the announcement, but I think it's going to be around 6, at most 7 or 800. So it's going to be way cheaper.
Not
And
way cheaper. You
oh
also got to
yeah,
realize.
your iPhone X is starting at 999. That's probably like the lowest. If you're gonna record 4K at 60 frames, you're gonna need the minimum like 124 gig, 128 gig version, which is probably like 1200.
First off, okay, I think the top one is around. How much is the Note 8?
Note 8 is probably like 1,000.
Okay, so
Okay, but we're talking about the
we're
Pixel at 7, 800.
right. Well, we're talking about flagships altogether, right? So if we're talking about flagships, they're all within the proximity of range of
Yeah,
pricing.
okay. So you want to talk about price specifically. How much storage can you get maxed out with a storage card on the Note 8 versus the price point of an Apple storage maxed out? It's going to
The
be
funny thing,
cheaper. And that's what I'm talking about.
the funny thing is, I knew you were going to say that, okay? And then you can always talk about, oh, you can expand the memory and this, that, and the
And you
other.
get a pen. You get a pen. Like if you bought Apple's pen, it's going to be another $100 or whatever it is.
You can't
So
use
you can't
Apple's pen
compare.
on the
You're
phone.
always comparing, like, you're not comparing apples to apples, man.
Haha, get it? Apples to Apple.
Apples to Android. You're not. You're like saying, well, yeah, it's in the same range, but that's what I said from the beginning. You're just getting more bang for your buck.
I think number one, of your you get more of a premium product. It'd be the equivalent of driving a Lexus instead of a Toyota, right?
See, that's your opinion. I don't know about that because I'll just call yours a Honda and mine's a BMW. That's opinion. We're talking
That's
facts.
no, very different,
It's
very different.
premium. Samsung's
Okay,
premium.
so
I'm
here's
holding
my
one right now. This is premium. This is S8, and I got a Note 8 in the other room. They're premium products, bro.
wait, isn't that is your S8, is that still made of like this like flimsy plastic thing?
No, it's made of glass. That's how you
It's
get
made
the
of,
wireless charging.
okay, so obviously iPhone, they use a proprietary metal. Like they have the metal patented. It's specific and it looks and
That's why
feels
it doesn't have wireless charging. They're switching to that in the X,
right.
I think. I don't
But
know if
but
it's
they,
the X and the 8.
yeah, it's on the X. But at the same time, they're also keeping their proprietary metal, I think, on the framing. So there's still a lot of
What does that
material.
even mean? You're getting wireless charging, and that's like 4 or 5 years ago we had that. That's how I'm looking at it. Like you're just doing it now.
I wait, isn't the wireless charging itself a little bit different? I know it's the Qi wireless system,
It's the
but
same. Qi,
no.
it's spelled QI, I think. Same.
Yeah, it is. But I heard that you can't with the iPhone X or iPhone 10, you can't just use any Qi system. You have to use Apple's because
Apple's yeah,
they have
they
a way
could
to make
probably
it
make it.
proprietary.
I'm sure there's going to be after party products, but that's again, it's like they lock it down.
They lock it down because they don't want nobody messing it, man.
Nah, man.
They don't want
Like
nobody messing with
you
that.
think about it. Other products. Remember, Sony used to do that. BlackBerry used to do that, and now they're not the only ones in the game anymore. Imagine you have a drone and you want to buy an app, but you can only buy the apps from DJI. No, third-party developers. That makes a better open world.
Or you can say we want to keep our world protected, safe, and keep it within the confines
and
of.
slow innovation and come out with wireless charging 5 years later.
How can you say that it's slow innovation when every time they have, okay, you name another type of announcement as grand as like an Apple announcement. Name another one.
What do you mean is grand? The Samsung, Google has the same kind of announcements.
No way. It doesn't draw the amount of crowds, doesn't get as much
I
media
mean, I don't
coverage.
know the numbers on that. Again, let's argue facts and not what you think. I don't know the numbers, so I can't argue it here. But they're big. I did say in the beginning, I think Apple's marketing is genius, but that has nothing to do with anything. So they're what? They're better marketer. They can be like, this is shit on a stick and it's worth $1 million. You can't say that because they're better marketing, it's a better phone.
Right. What it really comes down to is number one, sales, right? Because those numbers are going to be important. And when you talk about sales, you want to measure it so something comparable. And then number two, you want to talk about the user experience probably being the most important. Are the people that use that product, is the final result, or at least, towards the final result, is that a happy result? I'm
Well,
happy
is
with
that
the
is
iPhone.
that the statistic that you want to go for? Because obviously we said that they have more money, so they're making more sales. But or do you want to go by a statistic that would be more in my benefit, saying Android is more used within the United States and within the whole world?
We,
So
we
you
talk
can
we
go
talk
by
about.
whatever statistic you want to make your side look better than the other side.
I think right. So, but I can argue the merits of what you're saying is that like Android's more widely used. It's because you guys have a gazillion phones, all the way from like the cheap $5 phone that you get with like a StarTech type of Android phone to like those old
Again,
like.
yeah, then you can look at it like this. Again, we're not keeping the little man out, right? We're including everybody. It's open source. You can get Android. I'm pretty much only. Speaking of which, I'm in an office conference room right now, and we have an Android box set up here, which it's go to conference. So it's an Android box. You can put whatever computers or meetings and full Windows, not Windows, but you can put an app that logs into a Windows machine. It's
So
just
So Apple decides where they want to go into, right? They don't necessarily, and I think that's brilliant of them from a marketing perspective because they might not want to go directly into, let's say, home automation yet. Or in this case, let's talk about wireless charging. They might not want to go directly into wireless charging yet because they want to wait for that technology to be more out there to be used before they say it. So I know for a fact that Starbucks, they already had a bunch of wireless charging stations already set up, and I think it's because they were anticipating for Apple to have it. So we could kind of double check our resources, but either way, though, now that the technology is out there, it gives Apple the chance to use these technologies to everybody's interests, and for I think it's good for everybody. I think um,
innovation is
it's
and
they're kind of like pushing
competition
each other.
is good for everybody on both sides. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, there we go. That's that. We agreed. Let's end it at that.
Let's end it on that good note. Well, I don't even know how long have we been? Maybe like 20 minutes? All right,
Yeah,
sounds good.
we're going to agree that innovation in technology is important, and whether it be we're growing new technology or adopting older technology and putting it out there now with the masses, either way, the fact is there is innovation, there is the competition from both of these companies or platforms to grow, and that's important. So on that note, let me play the outro for you.
Let's do it.
I won, I chew, I shree.